We are in week 7, and here are some recaps from the games. We have the Miami Dolphins taking on the division rival Buffalo Bills, and it's the Dolphins coming away with the victory. With 3-touchdown victory. Newton threw for 365 yards and 4 touchdowns in the blowout. Dolphins move up to 4-3. Bills fall. So a great game there by the Miami Dolphins, and Deshaun Jackson connecting with Newton on that huge play. Then we have the Colts taking on the Tennessee Titans. This is Drew Brees versus Aaron Rodgers. And it is none other than Drew Brees coming away with the victory. 35-21 over Aaron Rodgers, who did throw for over 300 yards. There you can see Randall Cobb running it in for the into the end zone, So beautiful play there. Colts continue to lead in the AFC South. Then we have the classic Cleveland Browns versus Pittsburgh Steelers. Both teams sort of struggling early on this season, but it is the Pittsburgh Steelers finding a way to defeat the Cleveland Browns. There we see Howard running in for a touchdown, the rookie. Nice play there. So 31-21, Big Ben over Terrell Pryor. Then we got the Atlanta Falcons versus the Carolina Panthers. Falcons having a really bad season to start this one off, and it only gets worse from here. The Carolina Panthers smoke the Falcons 35-14. Garoppolo not even throwing for more than 70 yards, 67 yards there. Flacco only 151, but that's more than enough to get them the victory. Then we have the New England Patriots taking on the Chicago Bears. There we see Carson Wentz rolling out and trying to force it there, but he fails, and we see Darrelle Revis getting the interception and the pick 6. Patriots move 5-2 on the year. Bears fall to 5-2. Rookie Carson Wentz has looked good this season, but the Patriots were able to take advantage in that situation. So here we have the Minnesota Vikings versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, both 4-2. And it is the Minnesota Vikings who come away with a victory, 35-21 over Kirk Cousins. So this is the 2012 quarterback draft class against each other, Griffin versus Cousins. Cousins much later picked than Griffin. There's Rob Gronkowski saluting after the touchdown. Then we've got the Los Angeles Rams taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. We have the Super Bowl defending champions coming away with a victory here, as we see Andrew Luck connecting there with Hakeem Nicks. A 28-24 victory here for the LA Rams. They move 5-2 on the year. The Chiefs fall 3-4. The Dallas Cowboys taking on the Detroit Lions. Here we have Ryan Tannehill connecting there for a touchdown. The Lions deliver the first loss for the Dallas Cowboys this year. Lions move up 5-2. Cowboys fall to 6-1. So next we have the rest of the games. We already saw the top row there, so we move on to the Commanders versus Seahawks. Commanders get a surprising victory over the Seahawks. We see Garrett Gilbert with 222 yards and 2 touchdowns. Surprising there, we do have that one 62-yard touchdown run by Julio Jones. That was kind of a surprise, but very fun to see that. So 78 yards receiving, 62 yards rushing. They have their playmaker in Julio Jones, and they use him well. Then we got ourselves the Falcons-Panthers. We saw that one. Then we have the Giants versus the Saints. So here we have Sanchez coming away with a 35-10 victory. But they were getting beat so bad. Christian Hackenberg went in and also threw an interception. And then poor running game for them. We have Ryan Matthews with 93 yards, Kenyon Drake with 88 yards, 3 touchdowns between the two of them. So everything was working pretty well for the Giants to move up 3-4. Bengals triumph over the Jaguars. Osweiler only 2-5 on the year. We have to see if they decide to make a swap with Prescott at some point. But 42-28, we see 3 touchdowns for Derek Carr, 100 yards rushing for Freeman with 2 touchdowns. Even Murray had some 4-yard touchdown run. Jalen Strong, he is a second-year man, caught for 113 yards. Stephen Ridley had 102 yards. A lot of catching from the running back there. Golden Tate III, getting 93 yards. Hardy, 24. We saw the Colts and Titans. We saw the Browns Steelers. Chargers versus Broncos. It is Sam Bradford triumphing over the number 1 overall pick, Jared Goff, who's having a rough start to his first season as a Chargers quarterback. We got 59 yards for Foster, 39 for McKinnon. Then we have 83 yards for Des Bryant there. Really, the Broncos didn't do anything special. They didn't do anything great, other than they did have a defensive touchdown with Luke Kuechly, so one of those interceptions was returned for a touchdown. And then there was a second pick six. So 2 pick sixes is not going to help the Chargers come away with the victory. So Jared Goff getting those rookie pains in. And then we have the 49ers who defeat the Arizona Cardinals. So Winston, in a 256-yard game, finds a way to defeat the division rival Cardinals. So we see 202 yards there for Dalton, but 2 interceptions. That's not great. Then the news, if you want to see any of the information here. Then we got top performers. Yep, Newton, 365, 4 touchdowns. Derek Carr, superstar dev guy. Deshaun Jackson, 136 yards. Rookies, we got Derrick Henry doing pretty well. Tyreek Hill, William Jackson III, Chris Moore. That was a surprise there with Chris Moore with the Tennessee Titans, despite their loss. Then we got surprises. So Jalen Strong, Benjamin Ridley. We see Dorsett having a surprise there with 77 yards. Garrett Gilbert did pretty well for his overall. Then when we look at the injury report, again, there's a lot of injuries. Not sure if there's anything that was not already mentioned in previous ones, but I will slowly go through this. Transactions, we had a few contract extensions taking place this week. So more of the AFC North. Sometimes I go by the division and just pick up people and just go, okay, AFC North this week. I'll do the AFC East another week and just try to get them some progress on the offseason. So breaking down the division, the standings here, we've got the Patriots and Bills, 5-2. Jets a half game behind them because of the bye week, so they're 4-2. We got the Miami Dolphins at 4-3. Then they're right there. They're all above 500. Very tough division. That's very different than the real AFC East. And that's my fault for giving the New York Jets Alex Smith, thinking that he would pan out like the real Alex Smith, where it kind of was a journeyman quarterback somewhat. But I guess if he didn't have the injuries like he did in San Francisco, he would have had a much longer career. Then we got maybe more successful too. Then we got the Ravens and Bengals, 4-2. The Steelers are 3-4, so they're trying to work their way back into the playoff picture. Browns 2-4. Not normal for them because they've actually been doing pretty well the past few seasons, so they're struggling this year, which is odd for them. And then you got the Indianapolis Colts at 4-2, Titans Jags 2-5, Texans 1-5, so they're the ones really falling behind. You got the AFC West there, 3-4, and then 2-5 for the Chargers. Technically, Chargers are still in it. They're only like a game behind, but it feels like Chargers have had such a bad season that there's almost no redemption there. And then we got the Las Vegas Raiders there. 0-6, only a winless team. And then Dallas got their first loss, so there is no undefeated team left. Commanders are ahead of the Eagles by a game. The Eagles are 3-3, 500. Giants are 3-4. Then we have a surprise in the NFC North. The Bears, Vikings, and Lions are 5-2. And we got the Packers at 3-3. They're kind of falling behind in the division. However, they did have a good game this past. Well, no, I think they were on bye this week. They were on bye this week, but they're 3-3, so doing all right. They did defeat I think they beat the Patriots, or they're playing the Patriots next week. And then we have the NFC South with the Carolina Panthers leading the way, 5-2. Bucks half game behind them, and then we've got the Saints 3-4. Falcons bottom of the division 1-6. Then you got the Rams who are winning their division so far. Seattle. Sorry, dealing with all these weird Windows things. So New Orleans Saints 3-4. Or where am I at? NFC West. The Seattle Seahawks 3-4. The 49ers 3-4. That's kind of a surprise. Both teams not performing well, and the Cardinals are 1-5. We look at the league. Actually, if we go to the draft order so far, it is the Raiders, then the Falcons, Texans, Cardinals, Chargers, Jags, the Titans pick, but given to the Chargers, Browns, Steelers, and 49ers in the top 10. Now, if we go to the player stats, we've got Cam Newton, Ben Roethlisberger, Aaron Rodgers, Blake Bortles, and Andrew Luck in the top 5. Brady shy of the 5th spot there by about almost 100 yards. Then we got touchdown leaders. It's Cam Newton leading the way. And then we have the remaining top 5 all with 18. Ryan is leading the interceptions with Andy Dalton, Winston, Garoppolo, Garrett. Now, other than Garrett, most of these other teams, they're all performing poorly, so no surprise there. Then we got Jay Ajayi, who had like a 200-yard game. Oh, no. Oh, he did. Yeah, 200 yards a few weeks ago. And so he has been 667. Was it Kevin Smith that had it? Oh, there's a player that had a big game. He had 195 in week 5. So, yeah, some of these had a really big game, so that helped them. But Ajayi, Kevin Smith, Ingram, McFadden, and Martin, top there for rushing. We got 3, Ajayi, Smith, and Todd Gurley with 7 touchdowns. Then we have from Doug Martin, Lynch, Bernard, Richardson, and McFadden with 6. Jeremy Hill has broken the most tackles. And Deion Lewis, Mariota, Vick, and Rogers have the most fumbles. Receiving, we have, the yards is Beckham Jr., Jackson, Hilton, Calvin Johnson Jr., and Tyreek Hill. Julio Jones has caught the most passes with Calvin Johnson Jr. second, tied with Emmanuel Sanders, Odell Beckham, Kyle Rudolph, and Nix. So kind of tied for third there. When we look at touchdowns, we have Tyreek Hill, the rookie, leading the entire NFL. So definitely Drew Brees' favorite weapon. We've got Julio Jones, Odell Beckham Jr., Brian Quick, Calvin Johnson Jr., all there in the top 5. Tackles, we got Delmas, Phillips, Arnaud, Chung, tied there for third. And then we have Quinn making the top 5. We go to sacks here. Stephon Tuitt has picked up. Let's see, when did he pick those up? Oh, he picked 2.5 sacks against the Patriots. So that was good for him, even though that was a loss for them. That gets him back there to be tied for the top with Derek Morgan. They passed Lawrence Sidbury, George Johnson, Ziggy Ansah at 6. So that's your top 5 in sack leaders. We got 2 safeties, DeMarcus Lawrence and Jarrell Worthy. Then as for interceptions, we got Xavier Rhodes with the Titans. He's at 4 of them, and then a bunch with 3. So Vaccaro all the way up here to Pryor the third, all have 3 interceptions. And so there you have it. We have the recap here of Week 7. So if you like this update and you like this journey, subscribe to the channel, leave a like. I'll keep generating more content as we keep moving forward through this alternate reality of the NFL. Thanks for watching.